Hip extension, again, just like everything else. We're gonna just keep saying that. Once you got the process, it's all kind of the same, just different positions, and we're working different motions. So hip extension, when we actually get started here, it's a secondary motion. We always, always, always start and make sure that everybody can rotate first. It's the primary motion of what your hip does. It's a ball and socket joint. It has to be able to rotate. If it can't rotate, it can't do these, right? So often we will see people start with like a hip flexor stretch or a couch stretch. But if you can't internally rotate, you're only going to be able to get so far into that before you run into an internal rotation problem that restricts your extension as well. So anyway, this is going to look a little bit like a couch stretch. What I'm going to have Andy do is kneel here on this pad. I'm going to give you those literally just for balance and for creating a little bit of tension when we get through here. Some of the important things when we start working through hip extension, just position-wise, Andy he's already doing a good job because he knows what we're going to do, but a lot of people won't. If he just relaxes right here and then tries to come forward, what you're going to see is he gets overextended in his spine and not so much in the hip, actually. We end up doing like an anterior tilt here as we try to come forward. The way that we actually want to set up is with a posterior tilt or a good glute squeeze on this side. And then we're going to maintain that glute squeeze, or think about the bottom of your like hip crease, and we're going to try to push it forward and up. That. What we're going to get then is a really intense stretch on the front side of the hip and almost into your groin a little bit. Those guys they're there for balance, mostly. But as we get in there, they're also going to be used to drive his hands down in there. Just like with everything else with our PAILS and rails, what we're going to try to do is get out of this stretch for our PAILS contraction, but we want things in the way, like those posts or like this blue mat. So again, PAILS and rails. So we're going to sit here for about 2 minutes. We're hanging out, and we're going to hang out here again for about 2 minutes. Because we're on a video, we're going to skip that 2 minutes, and we're going to do our PAILS set first. What Andy's going to think about here is driving that knee into this pad and forward, almost like he's trying to drag it across the floor, and at the same time, he's driving his hands down into those posts. We are trying to close this angle of his hip, but we've got two things in the way that won't let us. Again, 5 to 6 seconds as hard as he can. When we're done with that, he is going to let go, and he is going to try to bring that hip forward, and if anything, up a little. Yep. The nice thing about those posts is they can move wherever we need to. We are just opening up the front side of that hip this way without letting too much arch happen in the low back. Good. And then, again, we wait till the top of the minute. We're hanging out, hanging out, hanging out. We do it again. So Andy's going to drive down with the post. He's going to drive that knee into the floor and forward. He's trying to drag the mat across the floor. He's pushing as hard as he can, and then he's going to relax and try to get a little deeper. Exactly. Good. Good. And then again, relaxed, breathe, try to be okay being here. It can be really, really intense, just hanging out. And then always, third set, same thing. This should be the hardest spot to actually contract here. We've got everything on full stretch. We do our best. Always ramp your stretches up, but again, up until as close to failure as possible, and then we relax. And last time as deep as we can. And again, just like everything else, in the end here, we want to hang out and breathe and be here. Be okay in this position. Yep. Just relax. Good. All right. You're cured.